Hello and welcome to episode 4 of our Meet the Church, as we've been going through, and for some of you meeting for the first time people from the church, and for some of you just getting to know others a little bit better. Today it's really great that we've got Katie and Charlotte. They're the other way around, so it's actually Charlotte and Katie, and it's great to have you here and just to do a bit of a discussion, really. So the first question I've really been asking everybody is, how are you coping with lockdown, both of you?
Oh, we went to go first. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. We're a family of 5, so we've got the 2 little ones and Charlotte. Peter, my husband, has had to stay separately from us because he's got a job that isn't very safe, and obviously he's concerned about germs and things like that and spreading the virus. So we're on week 5.
Well, we've been in longer,
but from Peter about 5, about 5 weeks now. So that's been kind of tough, but yeah, just taking each day as it comes.
Yeah, and what about you, Charlotte?
I have moments. So sometimes I'm fine and I manage to keep myself distracted, and other times I have a little bit of a meltdown and I'm like, oh, I'm isolated, can't go anywhere. But once I've had the meltdown, I tend to be okay. But yeah, it's not great.
It's not great. No, we'll come back. You talk about Peter. We'll come back to that in a moment. One of the questions I've got for you is, have you got any tips to deal with lockdown at the moment? What are the things that have kept you kind of going, kept you sane, being able to kind of just function from day to day?
I think for us, I'm still working 2 days a week, and with the kids, we've basically made it so they're enjoying each day as it comes. We are doing a bit of learning. School have been fantastic with giving us sort of things that we can do, but equally I'm quite happy to count baking as a lesson, or going for a walk for science, or planting things. We spent a lot of time in the swimming pool. So I think, it's more about them getting some really good life skills so they're not stressed about it, and just taking each day really and seeing what happens, not being too sort of rigid with any routines.
It's really important. I think me and Michelle last week we already have a teacher in service training day halfway through the week, just to have a bit of a break. But yeah, like you say, it's trying to do lots of different things. What about you, Charlotte? Well, have you got any tips for kind of how you're coping with lockdown?
I find that it's really helpful to do stuff that you know that you enjoy doing from inside your house. So I really enjoy baking. So I tend to try and bake one thing per week. So one week I baked a really huge cake. Although it didn't last very long, it did give me that sort of like, oh, I'm doing something I like. So I think just finding something that you really enjoy doing and just keep doing it as like a little weekly pick-me-up.
It's important, isn't it? Because otherwise it just days roll into, just everything becomes so monotonous, doesn't it? And it's important to do those kind of different things. Now, as you alluded, obviously, Katie, you have Charlotte, who's your eldest, Benjamin and Rebecca, and Peter's away. How are you coping with family life at the moment in terms of not being able to necessarily see the wider family in the same way that you would do, but also being almost living on top of each other for kind of, well, what you said, quite a few weeks now?
Yeah, we do lots of FaceTimes, lots of Zooms. The kids have had several things that they do with school. Zoe for Good News Adventure at church has done things with the young people. So I think when it comes to seeing people, and also just answering the questions and things when they ask it. So, not sort of being scared to say, we don't want them to feel scared. We just want them to feel happy and relaxed, and just kind of, although this isn't normal, it's kind of our new norm for the minute. So yeah, we just kind of, Peter comes and gets his tea every day. So we put it in the porch and we all talk to him out the window. So we're just trying to make it work. Yeah, it's a little bit like Romeo and Juliet, but not. And
yes,
yeah,
I do have these visions of Peter, shouting Romeo, or you shouting Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou?
Yeah, we've not had an argument. We've not had an argument through the window yet. So obviously separation is, working. But yeah, no, it's just finding a new kind of normal, isn't it? And just sort of going with that, really, because we don't have a lot of choice. And I always think there's people that are so much worse off. At least we're together, albeit missing Peter. It could be so much worse. We just have to take it as it comes.
So let's just touch on that a little bit more. Peter's in a situation where he's a little bit exposed potentially to COVID, and that's a decision you've made as a family that actually he's not going to be coming in the house. He gets his tea from the porch, and I know he's staying somewhere close by. How tough has that been for you?
It was really mainly his decision because I was desperate for him not to do it. And there were a lot of tears when it happened. So yeah, that was tough. And then once it kind of happened, we kind of got into a routine. And the way I cope with it is only taking it a day at a time. Whereas, I think if you looked at it as it potentially could be weeks and weeks, that would be harder. We've got massive support from our church family, from our own family. And yeah, but it has been, the kids sort of say, when is daddy coming home? Benjamin's birthday's in June. So we're all sort of thinking, what's going to be happening? Are we going to have to make extra plans? Yeah, it's been quite tough, isn't it?
And not Katie, but we know Peter's a fantastic chef as well. So actually, just wondering, perhaps it's been a little bit more difficult with the food and all that kind of thing.
Well, they're all still alive, so
she hasn't poisoned us.
I haven't poisoned you yet. No.
Yeah, Charlotte did add yachts in there. No,
there's always time.
It must be a challenge because in that sense, you work very closely as a family together, and I know it's not like Peter's completely not there at the moment, but it must be a challenge and a worry, kind of like how long this will last for. You said you take it a day at a time, but clearly this has disrupted your kind of routine of family life, hasn't it, in some description?
Yeah, I think as Christians we kind of have to, how I see it is that we have to trust in God, and this is kind of really testing that. And it's as long as we're doing the right thing, then we have to leave it in his hands. And I think as a Christian to have that peace, otherwise I would just literally be tearing my hair out. So for me, if I didn't have that, it would be a lot harder. And I'm not saying it's not hard, because it is horrible at times, but I also know that we're doing the right thing and we've prayed about it and we have to keep going. So that helps from that respect as well.
No, brilliant. Thank you. Charlotte, can you just tell people, don't mind, what year you're in at? You go to Salthouse Community School in the sixth form. What year are you in there?
So I'm in year 12, so that's my first year of A-levels.
Okay, and how are you finding this whole situation of obviously not going to school, which, to be honest, most children probably, or most young people will go, yes, amazing, great. But after a while, it must feel a little bit odd, a little bit weird. And how are you dealing and coping with that as someone who's kind of should be at school over this time, but clearly that's not the moment?
Yeah, it's really strange. So obviously in your first year of A-levels, you're prepping for your year 13 exams. And so now the idea that we've missed loads of our learning time and the fact that the year 13s aren't doing their exams anymore, it's really thrown everything up in the air. And I think I speak for a lot of us when we say that we feel really blessed in the fact that we're not in year 13 and that we don't have it as worse off as they do. But at the same time, we're really... Sorry, the cat's just trying to come in.
I know out that actually, Katie, the cats play a vital part of the family, so don't they? They're like children, so you can't just kick the cat out.
You can't kick the cat out.
No. Sorry, Charlotte, go
on. So yeah, as much as we feel like we don't have it as bad as obviously the year 11s doing their GCSEs, it's still really scary and confusing for us because we're only following the information we've been given from the government, and obviously our school are trying our best to keep us less panicked as possible and calm. But I think I'm really stressing over the fact that I don't know if I'm going to have to resit a year, or if I'm going to be really behind, or if the fact that I've not been in school is going to massively impact my grades. And just, it's not nice not being able to see your friends either. That really sucks. I mean, the whole part of sixth form really is that you go after your lessons, but at the end of the day you come back into the sixth form common room and you just all talk and you communicate with each other, and not having that is really, really strange. So there you can do it over social media and go, oh, I'm struggling with this or that. It's not the same as just having that face-to-face conversation.
No, and that's the thing, is loss of the social side of things. And I think, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think one of the things that is clear is everybody's in the same boat in the terms of, you know, you're not going to be alone. And I think going forward, employers and schools will recognise the unique situation that this is actually put us in. But you're right, and I think that's for adults as well, isn't it? You know, for me as well, we're missing seeing friends. We're missing people on a Sunday morning, church family. You know, my Barney today was saying, I'm looking forward to when I can get back and run round with the children after on a Sunday morning, which, to be honest, half the time drives me up the wall because he's such a noisy watcher. But actually, I think, as you said, Charlotte, that sense of, for our young people and for our children, actually the lack of social interaction. I mean, I think a lot of the kind of some people have this perception that people are on their social media all the time, but actually in school it gives you some social interaction, which quite clearly is important and is being missed at the moment. And are you finding ways of at least kind of not replacing that, but certainly kind of finding ways of still connecting with friends at this time?
My little group of friends, we do a weekly group FaceTime call, which is really, really fun. Sometimes one of us does a quiz or something. And also we are texting each other all the time. And so in that sense, it's nice that we still do have that bit of communication. But all we really want to do is just sit down with each other and have a little bit of a moan. And we can't do that really
And you
from
can't moan about your mum as well when your mum's in the room.
when I'm stuck with her. No, I can't.
Katie,
She's the person I'm moaning to at the moment.
Painful for everyone.
I feel I've started something, but anyway, Katie, for you, and I'll come to Charlotte in this in a minute. This whole time, I mean, it's new. I mean, people of our generation have never experienced anything like this. How is it? How's your faith been in this time when you know, we've been quite distant from one another? Church has not been the same. How have you found your faith in this time?
I think in some ways my faith is still the same. It still feels really strong. But it's having the extra time, because we were really busy before. I was volunteering in school on a Monday, I worked Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I had college. And today, like, you know, just the extra time, even before we sort of joined church as a family on Zoom, I was there doing my Bible reading and just having those sort of just more time, I would say. So that, I think that helps with your faith, because if you're obviously spending more time reading your Bible, you're going to learn more anyway. So I think for me, I've really appreciated that side of it. But my faith, we lost my dad in January. And I keep thinking, you know, I wonder what he would think of all this, because he loved politics and things like that. Yeah. But our church family were massively there for us. And they still are now. Like, you know, we have our Wednesday group. We're just doing a series now studying about the Bible, which sounds really basic, but at the end of the day, I absolutely love it, because it just helps having that knowledge and having other people to discuss it with. So although we haven't got the face to face, and I'm a big hugger and I am missing the hugs, it just helps. It just helps focus your mind and things. And I think it's great. So I definitely, my faith has benefited from having the extra time. And my faith hasn't been knocked. If anything, I would say it is stronger, because it's the only thing that makes sense and the only thing that keeps me going.
Thank you. I think, you know, your dad was a wonderful man. I think, yes, he would have found this time really interesting, wouldn't he? And kind of been asking those kind of questions, where's God in this, and all those kind of things. And Charlotte, what about you? What about your faith in this time?
I'm a bit of the opposite way. I found that actually, when it was first all happening, there was so much unease. Obviously, we didn't know if the schools were closing, things were slowly shutting down, but no one really knew what was going on. And in that time, I was so scared and anxious, and it actually caused me to not leave the house for ages, to even go on a daily walk, because I don't mean to be, but I really do say it how it is. I was just like, what is God playing at? I was like, what on earth is happening? Why is this happening now? Sounds really horrible, but personally, obviously, with losing granddad in January, I just feel like this year has been a complete and utter waste of time. And I just find myself going, why on earth is this happening? and I was really, really anxious and scared. And so that, in the form of my faith, came out as I was having a wobbly moment and I was really unsure. But as it goes on, and I think more logically, I do have that reassurance and that peace that I know that even though this is happening to us all now, I know that God has his hand in it always. And that whatever the outcome is, it's going to be okay because he loves us and he protects us and we're his family. And he's not going to let us down, even if I do feel like I'm being picked on and that this is a terrible year. I just have to push through and just rely on the fact that we do have that reassurance as Christians that it's all going to be okay in the end.
No, brilliant. I think my sound echoing on yours, so I apologise if the sound's a bit weird for you, but I think you're right, Charlotte. And 2020 seems to be it's been a very painful year for you as a family. I think your granddad would have been very proud of what you had said there and in the way you put it. And I think for lots of people, those who haven't even lost anyone this year, that actually this has been a difficult year, hasn't it? And actually we look at 2020 and go, even, things that are booked later on in the year, you kind of go, well, are they actually going to happen? Let's just have 2021 and get on with it, really. My last question to you both, draw to a close now, is how's church been different? And what have there been things that you've learned about church in this time that perhaps have just made something new, made you understand something new about the way church is?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm amazed at the people that we're reaching, the people that potentially sometimes couldn't make time for church, were too busy, had other stuff on. Just being able to share it, and I'm quite often called the technology queen, but I'm really not.
Yeah.
That was the name you gave me, Tim. Yeah. Still don't really know what I'm doing. I start watch parties and all sorts when church is on. But I think for me, the fact that we can make church so available, and I think you said it last week, that suddenly there's a church in every home if they want it to be. It's a lovely feeling, actually, that people can just log on and have access to that. So I think moving forward, and I'm desperate for church to all be together and, for us all to be together. But I think it will have to change slightly so we can accommodate everybody.
Charlotte, anything to add to that? Anything in church differently?
You know what? As much as it's really strange speaking to everyone through screens, the breakout rooms are really, really useful because I find that sometimes when I come up, because I go down to the young people's group on a Sunday morning, sometimes when I come up, I only really speak to the same sorts of groups of people. But now that we're in breakout rooms with like people that you probably wouldn't have ever met before in your life as well, it's giving us a really opportunity to just talk to people that, although you're in the same church as, you might have never really struck up a conversation with. And so I'm enjoying the social aspect of it and meeting new people, even if I've already met them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's hopefully something that we can carry on doing and having new experiences. Well, Katie and Charlotte, thank you ever so much for your openness, your honesty, and just being able to share in this time. So thank you both for your time in this. If you want to be interviewed as part of this, you're part of the church, please get in contact. But we hope these different things have been able, these different episodes have been helping you to understand something of the people that we are, the individuals, but also something of how we view church and how actually we haven't got it all sewn up. And actually we are still asking some big questions of life. So please get in contact and we'll hopefully see you at the next episode. Thank you very much.